representing Canada, the University of Guelph, and the eventual food cluster that will be in... Louder? Is that what you're saying? Okay, sorry. The eventual food cluster that will become part of Southern Ontario. I'd like to start by saying thank you to all of you for using English. I think I'm the only one here whose first language is English, and I wish I were as intelligent as you all and could speak multiple languages, but unfortunately I can only do English and French. However, you're all doing a fantastic job. Thank you. The second thing, I suppose, of interest is my primary role is with the University of Guelph. If you ever come to Canada and you don't, with an intention of learning about food and agriculture and doing research and development in food and agriculture or plants, and you don't have Guelph on your trip, then there's a mistake. You should come to the University of Guelph. It's about an hour west of Toronto. It's known as the key university in Canada for food and agriculture. Of course, there are others that do different things, but we're the most historical, I suppose. My role is in technology development, technology transfer, and really I work on the interface of the collaboration between industry and academia. So I was chosen to come and represent the University of Guelph for those reasons, that really the Vice President of Research or the deans of different colleges don't make as much sense as somebody with the mandate that my office has, and that is to initiate these collaborations. Now, as I'm sitting here listening to the presentations, it seems like there are a lot of themes, and so I've changed my presentation. You're more than welcome to look at the slides and read them. I prefer if you listen, I guess. I'm going to try to give you information that is more relevant to what you probably need from this meeting, and that is what our capabilities are, what we can do, and maybe what's available right now. At the end of this, I'm going to challenge PIC to have a common place for all of us to go and understand what everybody has to offer. I don't know if that exists right now, but I'll deal with that later. But at the University of Guelph, we have expertise in all of the areas that you've mentioned are of interest to everybody else. It's agriculture, the environment, food, rural communities to some extent, and encompassing all of that again is water. And that's one of the things that we do very well in a research capacity, is understand water from groundwater contamination, use for municipal water, recycling water, treatment of water, that kind of thing, both naturally and with technology. The Ontario Agricultural College is the main college of interest for this group. It's the biggest and one of the founding colleges at the university, and while it's about 150 years old, I know in European terms that seems like a drop in a bucket, but for Canadian terms that's very old. And we do the bulk of the research at the University of Guelph as well. So from the $160 million budget, it's around the $50 or $60 million mark. A lot of that comes from a strategic relationship with our provincial government, the Ontario Ministry of Food and Agriculture, who has formed a strategic alliance with the University of Guelph for the last 100 years. And really they use our institution as the key place to get the research done that's important in our country and in our region. And again, it covers the themes that you're interested in: food for health, processes and techniques, production techniques, environmentalism, water, all of that stuff. When I deal with animal science, it's really from the perspective, again, for this meeting, of what you put inside the animal is relevant to what you get out. So if you want some interesting nutritive value in the meat or in the milk of animals, then the plants make a big difference. A healthy animal makes healthy food. We're discovering that, and by example, the conjugated linoleic acid or omega fatty acids in cows are affected by disease and certain conditions in the animal itself. So at Guelph, we've developed expertise in using the gut as a bioreactor to take plants and to incorporate interesting nutritive content into the animal itself, not only for the health of the animal, but for the health of the people that consume the animal. A simple example is understanding the fat makeup of milk. And if you can alter that fat makeup, you could generate a butter that at refrigerated temperatures is spreadable like margarine. So that technology exists. It's not yet disclosed or patented, but very soon. When we deal with the plants at the university, and again, I think this is most relevant to this group, we've got a lot of expertise in plant breeding, both traditional plant breeding as well as genetic modification. That might be a swear word in Europe, I'm not sure. But things like developing mint varieties that have 10 times the amount of antioxidant called rosmarinic acid, or developing soybean lines that have 25% more oil than traditional soybeans. Fruits and vegetables relevant to our region, carrots, cabbages, potatoes, asparagus, plums, apples, grapes. We have a plethora of breeding programs and different programs that represent those. The university has some key strengths in use of bioproducts for new biomaterials, in particular plastics and energy. Developing plastic from soybean protein, for example, plastic that will melt in hot water. So you could imagine a soup package that you just pour hot water on and don't worry about it. Add nutrient value. High value extraction from waste. If it's from grape skins or olives or any kinds of plants that you're looking to use something from the waste, oftentimes it's the skin, or if you press a vegetable and you throw things away. We're looking to extract the value there, finding if there's anti-cancer properties or if there's a way to recapture that value of new food products. That's a key strength of the university. We do a lot of work in greenhouse technologies, and that will include the full gambit of, one of the projects at the University of Guelph is how to put tomatoes on the moon. And it sounds a bit ridiculous, but the relevance there is recycling all the components of a greenhouse, from water to energy to the nutrition and the fertilizers that are very important in the greenhouse. Canada might be one of the most wasteful countries in the world, but we really are focusing on not being one of the most wasteful countries in the world. Green roof technology is another thing that taking a page out of the German book, we're learning how to do green roof using hydroponics so that it can be shipped internationally. The kinds of plants that we can use in green roof and really capturing the value there that it has to offer. We've got a strong research program on omega-3. Now that'll involve genetic modification of certain bacteria like lactic acid bacteria or E. coli to produce omega-3s for different applications, feeding to animals, incorporating into different probiotic products like cheese and yogurts. The oil research that goes on at the University of Guelph might not seem relevant, but I think it is from vegetables and soybeans and even olives. If you can take oil and gel it, that is, make it more of a solid, you can put it in. We can put it into cosmetics. We've added it into meats like sausage, and they're very tasty. They're not dry. So it's using healthier oils, healthier fats in a multitude of different applications. I've discussed water using plants like tobacco for production of pharmaceuticals. I know there's examples of that around the world, but we have a company in particular who is doing that very well with a drug called Herceptin for breast cancer. The margins and the costs are so much better than current pharma that this kind of technology exists. Otherwise, I think the important messages here, the food safety, packaging, all the kinds of things that we've already talked about. The university in the particular region in Ontario, it's been validated as an exceptional location for a food cluster. We don't yet have one, but we're in the process of building one. The University of Guelph is the key player in constructing that food cluster. I think we have a lot to learn from the people around the room as we're developing this. The one-day drive has access to over 150 million people in our region, and certainly there's a lot of different technology that I think is globally relevant, and oftentimes it's so easy for us to partner with the United States or with countries that are a lot closer, that maybe speak the same language, but at the same time we see here today that just about everybody can speak English, which is wonderful, and I think we all have very similar needs. Now my challenge is for PIC or for this group is after this meeting is over, it's difficult to keep in touch with everybody with all of these clusters, and I would like to, but I think passively we need to keep in touch by at least letting each other know what we have, what's available, and if there is something like this that exists within PIC or within a larger cluster region, it would be a spot for dissemination of this kind of information. What technologies we have, if you're looking for licensing opportunities, if you're looking for research and development, if you just have information to share, if your cluster is traveling somewhere and we would like to host or whatever, I think that's an ideal spot. We've got the critical mass in this room where it becomes very relevant now. And if it doesn't exist, I would encourage PIC maybe to take the lead and construct that so that we can again continue these conversations both actively and passively. Thank you very much. I look forward to meeting you all.